It's Nolan. Price of admission rising, entrepreneur connoisseur, I've been enterprising. Clean paper with immunizing, I need that. Microphone fiend broke away from the scene, now I'm falling in the relapse. The young G-rap, fillet the game like a sea bass. Hitting levels, yeah, I mean, couldn't reach that. It ain't all about the money, but if money's vacant, it's like a stripper dog, ain't nothing shaking. I used to get them folk for folks, wishing that the industry would come and open the door. Used to book shows, never had nothing to show. The stage coming and go, turned the new leaf, got me heating up at the stove. The portfolio sick as polio, tails like a low roll. Homies toe sticks, no Pinocchio. Pen game publishing checks, looking like OVO. Quentin Miller, the shit thriller, sick pillar, turn tough niggas to Ben Stiller. Slick puller, corporate, forever in style like Earth Forces. Flow so hot it could burn torches. Business had been booming, about to open a lab in my first office. Pompous, never had a compass. Killer with a conscience. See me on ponds with my accomplice. Eating confit, you niggas calling it confit. Never forget where I'm from, we used to pawn shit. Pardon me for showing part of me. Niggas think it's sweet till it's rude and disorderly. The dichotomy, light skin, expecting to hear some R&B. I'm too sharp, I'll cut your femoral artery. All the poppycock can get your poppy pop set up on fire till they stop and drop and roll them out the barbershop. I don't really talk a lot, calm and collected, boy. I preach when I speak, put coins in the collection. Beat the order with the pecking, birds pecking like the penguin. Catch me with the pelicans, I'm balling like Ingram. Buzzing out in England and y'all ain't got an inkling. Put together lines like sequence. I've been too facetious, taking the game for face value. Now I want my face on a statue. Holding my nutshell, playing with the cashews. Turn them to ash if I catch you. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope y'all are doing well. In this particular episode, we're going to be getting into Miss Milagro Grrrls, Joe Budden, and of course, all of this is surrounding Megan Thee Stallion. All right. Now, Milagro, who is currently being sued by Megan Thee Stallion for cyber stalking, cyber bullying, spreading deep fake sex tape, and putting out misinformation regarding the Tory Lanez trial and things of that nature. Apparently, she's now angry at Joe Budden. Okay? And the reason that she's angry at Joe Budden is in a recent episode of Joe Budden's podcast, he briefly spoke on the fact that Megan Thee Stallion is suing her. But in the episode, he stated that although he loves her, he's happy, or should I say he's glad that she's being sued. Okay? And this is causing Milagro to crash out on social media. She's cursed him out numerous times over the last couple of days. Shout out to the Twitter page Opinionated Truths that, kind of compiles these Twitter spaces, these station head conversations, and things of that nature, right? I don't cover everything that Opinionated Truths puts out, but they do a pretty good job of listening in on these different conversations and putting out some of the audio from these things. So I want to shout this person out because I'm using their recordings. So she's angry that Joe basically said that he's glad she's getting sued. And the reason why he's glad is because he doesn't necessarily agree with her style of covering topics. He says that she has a very guerrilla style of covering things, kind of down in the trenches, National Enquirer style, spreading salacious reports, and saying things that can get you in trouble. And he says the difference between her and the National Enquirer is they're an established business that has money for when or if they get sued or if they're confronted with legal issues. They already have staff, lawyers, money, etc. put to the side in case anything comes up. Milagro, on the other hand, is just an individual entity that more than likely doesn't have money set aside for liability issues, right? So he likened her to Tasha K. And we all know Tasha K. We all know her style. We all know how she will poke at something until there's nothing left to be resolved from it. She will go above and beyond the call of duty from a journalist perspective and just go into the mud. She unfortunately had to reap what she sowed when it came to Cardi B getting sued, and she lost. She still owes Cardi B money, right? So he likened her to that situation, to which Milagro does not enjoy being put in a parallel space to Tasha K. All right. Now, before we get into Milagro speaking on Joe, I want to give a quick update on Milagro and Megan's legal dispute, because just the other day we spoke about the proposed trial date. They were proposing for a July 25th, if I'm not mistaken, trial date. However, they've settled on a different date. I believe September. But just give me a second. I'm going to pull it up and then we'll get to it. All right. Correction. That date is December 2nd, not September. My bad. But here's where things stand officially. Okay, so they did initially go with September 8th, but then that was moved. Okay. Thought I was tripping. I knew I'd seen that, but things have been updated since then. Okay. Milagro has also found a lawyer in Florida to represent her. That was another issue. Being that the case was in Florida, she had hired that guy from California who's part of Unite the People, associated with Tory Lanez, also working with him with his appeal situation. And he's not licensed in Florida to, handle legal issues out there. So they have found a lawyer in Florida for Milagro to move forward with. All right. So first thing, I'm going to address what I guess her new lawyer has filed with the courts. Then we'll get to the Joe Budden thing. All right. So they say Megan P. individual versus Milagro Elizabeth Cooper. Defendant's unopposed motion for enlargement of time to respond to complaint. All right. So they say defendant Milagro Elizabeth Cooper, through her undersigned counsel pursuant to Rule 6 Fed, blah, 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 her unopposed motion for enlargement of time to respond to the complaint, and states as follows. This is diversity action for damages and injunctive relief brought by plaintiff under various common law torts and statutory claims arising out of online postings. Arising out of online postings allegedly made by defendant, an online blogger, journalist based out of Houston, Texas. Defendant's response to plaintiff's complaint is due on November 21st. That will be today. The undersigned counsel was just retained on November 19th in the instant matter and is currently investigating the issues and allegations raised in the complaint. Accordingly, defendant respectfully requests an enlargement of time up through and including December 21st, 2024, within which to file her response to the complaint. Plaintiff's complaint contains numerous factual allegations and novel claims under Florida law. Additionally, there are jurisdictional and venue issues that may also need to be addressed by the defendant in her response to the complaint. No party will be unfairly prejudiced by the requested enlargement of time. Defendant will be unfairly prejudiced if this motion is denied, as she will be denied the opportunity to timely prepare a thorough and cogent response to plaintiff's complaint. Counsel for plaintiff Dan Humphrey, Esquire, has been contacted and has advised that he has no objection to the requested enlargement of time. So Megan's team is cool with taking the extra time. They're like, take all the time you need. We're going to be here. We're going to get you. Okay. So that's basically what we have here is they were requesting more time so that she can get acquainted with her new lawyer and they can try to prepare a case on behalf of Milagro to not have to pay Megan Thee Stallion for these claims of harassment, cyberstalking, cyberbullying, etc., right? So the judge in Megan's lawsuit against Milagro has approved the new filing. And they say a status conference is scheduled for December 2nd in Miami. All right. and that will take place at 9:30 a.m. at that time. So, at least Milagro's handling her business a little bit better than Emilio Cucci. You know what I'm saying? Because he can't even seem to find counsel in New York. They're paying legal fees to Megan before they even get the goddamn case concluded. So although I don't agree with Milagro on a lot, I didn't. Well, I ain't gonna say agree, but I didn't understand her choosing the Unite the People lawyer. At least she was able to find somebody in the state of Florida that was willing to take her case. All right, so I will say kudos to that, I guess. Um, but now let's update, right? Because again, Joe Budden said he's happy that she is being sued. So here's her response to Joe Budden in specific. I'm saying that. What the fuck?
So
Okay.
it's just not logical. They said the term was, I'm glad, because she has a guerrilla style of reporting. And that motherfucker want to come to my zoo. Fuck up out of here, nigga. If I got the gorilla style, then nigga use a gorilla watcher, bitch. Fuck is you talking about? The fuck? I can't stand no cowardly ass nigga. This is big. Joe is not using me for a moment. I can't even explicitly tell you what Joe is doing. Not right now. But this has nothing to do with Joe using me for a moment. Joe doesn't need me for a moment. You need to look at the bigger picture of what the fuck Joe is doing. I just can't make it plain for you right now.
I would love to know what she's
Exactly.
alluding to also.
You don't see what the fuck he doing? This the second time that nigga done went on his motherfucking platform and likened me to Tasha K. You are putting in people's minds that I am fucking guilty. You are putting in people's minds that I lied. When you compare me to Tasha K and I am being sued and she got sued for what she got sued for and it went that way, nigga, that's what the fuck you're doing. You know what you're doing. You helping facilitate this bullshit. But you think that if you tell me you love me, that if it go the other way, you'll be able to have some comeback. No. No. Don't think you finna do shit at my expense, nigga. Fuck wrong with you. And the picture get bigger than that. That's surface level shit for what the fuck he's doing. This is the same situation as that nigga going to that magazine outlet. The same tired ass shit they trying to use now. That little motherfucking soundbite that nigga gave Source a few years ago. See what these niggas doing? Exactly. So hell no. I don't respect nothing about this shit. Fuck all that shit. I know what he meant. They said, Millie, I hope this helps, but he said gorilla type of reporting. Not gorilla like a monkey. He meant you a rebel. Listen, baby. I know you heard what I said? That he said I have a gorilla style of reporting. And I flipped that and said that motherfucker wanted to come to the fucking zoo. I know what he meant. Did you know what I meant? And what the fuck he need to say that for?
You shouldn't want to be running a zoo if you're reporting.
What the fuck? What are you talking about? What you got a negative tone around it for? Cause you like that shit, don't you? Ain't that the shit that get you going, bitch? Shut your ass up. Hear that shit?
All right, we're gonna end it there, right? So she's unhappy. She's she feeling some type of way. Yeah. Okay. You know what I mean? She feeling some type of way. But I think she's confused in a couple things here. Joe Budden says he loves everybody. Joe Budden is gonna throw a rock. He gonna hit your ass dead in the motherfucking head. And he gonna say, he gonna wait for you to respond. Then when the going gets tough, the coals get hot under the feet on Fear Factor. He gonna say, hey man, peace and blessings to everybody, love to everybody. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to work on me. I'm trying to improve, guys. My bad. If I offended anybody, my apologies. I'll take the blame. He do it to everybody. He do it to Rory and Maul. He did it to Slaughterhouse. He gonna do it to yo ass. He gonna do it to anybody that allows him to do it. And you put your faith in him to do it. Because you was entertained by the fact that y'all had some mutual views about Megan Thee Stallion, right? So elsewhere in her conversation, she said that she's going to have somebody put together a compilation of every time that Joe Budden has mentioned Megan Thee Stallion in a negative fashion. And she made good on that promise. So somebody has made a 7-minute compilation of all of the adverse comments that Joe Budden has made concerning Megan Thee Stallion, the Tory Lanez incident. And we're going to go ahead and play it. Since we're here, we might as well entertain the entire situation. All right? So let me pull up that audio.
Sympathetic and show some.
Y'all scared because she's suing that girl?
No. I don't got
Milagro?
Ain't got nothing to do with me. Nah, I just think
I'm happy about that too.
Why?
Because you can't just get on the microphone and say things. I say that all the time. Any of y'all out there that believe that Tory Lanez picked up a gun while he was with two girls that he popped them both, said dance bitch, and shot her in the foot, I stand by, you're an idiot. I never left that.
Not only did the industry find out, the industry believed whatever they heard. Mm-hmm. Some people in the industry say they seen the tape. I'm not one of them people.
Tape.
But you know it's a tape.
The tape still ain't been produced.
If there is a tape,
There has to be.
No,
tape.
there is a tape.
Don't even say if.
We're gonna say
If we see
just
it,
to be on the safe side.
And they saying it with their
If
chest.
there is a tape, and let's just say, because I don't know,
The cops seen the tape.
this guy's innocent from shooting you. For you to drag him like that for 2 years, my nigga, and make him lose income, potentially go to jail, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that is disgusting.
For me personally, I've seen this woman do horrible things to some really great people that I have long-standing relationships with in this industry. So I'm biased. Like, you can't just treat my friends and people I fuck with and people I've seen in this game for 15 years.
Get a chance to watch it?
No.
You'd have no intention of watching.
Not at all.
Why?
Because I know what happened.
You know.
Other than
Leave me alone.
Oh shit.
Leave me alone. I'm not looking to do an interview. I'm not looking to entertain.
Oh, he not playing with niggas
You
today.
asked me something, I answered you. I'm not watching it. You asked me why.
There are people that still constantly say he's innocent because he didn't shoot her. Mm-hmm. And those are just that's a loud scream. So
I'm on that side of the fence.
Yeah,
I'm with that scream.
Yeah, I'm with that scream. But the problem is that's not what he was
That's not the
charged
charge.
with, and they don't understand that. So every little piece that comes out is saying, "Ha, see, we told you he didn't shoot her."
Well, that's why my fight is
that's
with
why I won't
what
stop.
she's doing in the court of public opinion. The charge may stand because that wasn't the charge. But in the court of public opinion, she continues to say, he shot me. He shot me. That says that a man pulled out a weapon with the intent to fire at you. I don't believe that. There's a lot of people that don't believe that. In spite of what your little Hulu doc said. I don't give a fuck about your Hulu doc.
you watched it too.
I have a brain. But I have a brain. They can't just tell me anything and my brain don't start working as someone with some experience in the world. You can't do that to me. Shit. Anyway. Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. I'm finished with these niggas and I don't like that girl. Meg, I can't. You told Gayle King you didn't fuck him. We all know you fucked him.
The first line in for the prosecutor's statement, opening statement. Yeah, they had an intimate relationship.
Them involved have reason to lie.
True.
Everybody there has reason to lie. So I'm not really going with who do I trust more. I'm just going with nigga thoughts. For real. What is more likely? Tory leaves the studio, goes to Kylie Jenner's house, is having a blast, think he about to get the foursome popping off. Meg gets jailed. We know how they got in the car. What's more likely? That Tory was just so angered in that car that he took Kelsey's gun and shot her? Because there's a few people that, listen, some people know whose gun it was. Listen, that part, I can't share how. We know whose gun it was. So he took her gun and shot her. Why? Why was he so mad? Because that's the scary part. That's back to that whole man versus bear in the wood shit. Y'all think a man is just shooting a girl for no reason? Give me the reason. Because the only reason we got was I said that I had more number ones than him.
I shit on his career.
You telling me that the
male
black
ego's a motherfucker though.
No, it ain't that much of a motherfucker.
Yeah,
it ain't that much. Or what's more believable? Two people that was running around as best friends, new in the music industry. One gets COVID, comes back, finds out her best friend is fucking the nigga that she is fucking on.
And they drunk and high.
Well, that's the other piece of it.
And this nigga just was about to get some Kylie Jenner ass. We just left there. We made him leave. Hey, get out the pool. Come on, you come with us. That guy is shooting. No, that guy wants to go back. That guy wants to leave y'all and double back to Kylie Jenner's house.
Even if he drunk and high, and his ego been bruised, and he's angry. I mean, people do crazy shit. Jails are filled with people that make irrational decisions.
That's true. But you believe that is more likely than the girl situation.
I don't think they necessarily compete in stories. The beef could have started with them going at it. It could have been her gun.
If it starts there, then how does Tory end up in shooting somebody?
Again, male ego get bruised, disrespect, frustration, high, drunk, not all the way sane. Any of these things, I'm not saying he's not. I'm saying all.
I believe he's ill-tempered.
Yeah,
I do believe he's ill-tempered.
I've seen niggas get shot for, and I'm sure y'all have for less than that.
I've never seen a celebrity do it.
That's fair.
I've never seen a celebrity shoot somebody for less. People that have a lot going on. He had a lot going on. One of the hottest artists out now, not as successful as her at the time, but. I'm pressed to believe
rappers do time.
I really just don't think that all of that is being taken into account in this heated moment, like you said, that is fueled by drugs and alcohol.
But in the heated moment, why is Tory heated?
I got more number ones than you might do that.
Somebody tell me why Tory Lanez would be heated in that moment. I popped you. I'm the one that want to tell about it.
Well, I can certainly see him being very annoyed. I still think that it wasn't necessarily him intentionally shooting. If he did, in fact, was the person that pulled the trigger, I think it was a
just recklessness.
It was a bunch of fucking
recklessness.
Or maybe he shot at the ground and just actually
scuffle and recklessness is still different than he shot me, which has been my beef with Meg this entire time.
Gotcha.
Why would she make it up? Well, seriously, I mean.
Well, first of all, I think it's above her. I don't think she made it up.
Okay.
It's above her. She's a mere pawn in this. This play is greater than her. She didn't make nothing up. I ain't gonna say who I think made it up.
Okay.
But it wasn't her.
Okay.
And who set the play to make sure it gets out that way and stays that way.
Yeah. Like, actually, niggas out there know who it is. I ain't saying it on my broadcast.
I'm not saying that shit.
But I know exactly who it is. I know how that gun got there. I know who gun it was. And I thought it was weird that the last time we talked about this shit, Kelsey jumped in my DMs talking about, hey, don't talk about this no more. Why? You got immunity. That's odd. Glorilla enough for her numbers. Then something funny was going on with Meg's numbers. I'm not the guy to report on that because, bias.
I believe that is a Meg publicist somewhere pushing these stories about upping the security at my brave and people are coming here to sabotage it. I think that's a real nasty PR trick. I think that is real nasty.
You can't just get on the microphone and say things. I say that all the time.
Okay, so that is the compilation. They use his own words against him. He says he was happy that Milagro is getting sued by Megan Thee Stallion because you can't just get on a mic and say things. They ran a whole 7 minutes and 47-second clip of Joe Budden getting on a mic and saying things geared specifically toward Megan Thee Stallion, to where he does not believe her story. He does not believe Tory Lanez did what she said he did. And he's come up with about 4-5 different scenarios in which he sees things not being what they seem. He even says that it feels like some sort of scheme in which Megan Thee Stallion was only a small pawn in the narrative. She just needed to go through with the plan. I want to know what made Tory Lanez so important that he needed to be taken down when he's gotten bigger since being in jail. The people that have become Tory Lanez fans were very lukewarm on him and told him to stop making remixes and make some real music before all of this shit transpired. You know what I'm saying? He was coming off a big moment off the What's Poppin' remix where some people was like, damn, that nigga really was spitting. I know I was one of those people. But outside of that, the narrative on homie was, when you gonna make your own songs instead of remaking everybody else shit? So why would the remake nigga, Jacquees 2.0, need to be taken down? Some people say Roc Nation offered him a deal and he declined. So did Joey Badass. Where's his case? So did Sauce Walker. Where's his case? Like, we just got to start using our fucking brains out here, man. But whatever, I'm not the guy to stimulate that part of niggas' brains. If you believe what you believe what the fuck you want to believe, right? It ain't got shit to do with me. But it just seems very interesting, especially for some people's backgrounds, what it is they're willing to accept. Right? So anyway, that's Joe Budden. Milagro says she was going to expose him. 7 minutes of content definitely will do it to you. So she basically, to me, when she's alluding to Joe Budden, like trying to do something or trying to spin her in a certain direction, I think what she's trying to say is Joe Budden is using her as a scapegoat. Right? Because some of the sentiments and remarks that he's made on his podcast reflect some of the same things that she's come out and said on her platform. But it seems that she's been targeted for the takedown rather than Joe Budden receiving a lawsuit, rather than Joe Budden having to go through this legal dispute with Megan Thee Stallion. Milagro's the one. But to be honest, Milagro, Megan was really letting you live. Right? She was really letting you get your shit off for years. It wasn't until you led people to that deep fake video and stood on business rather than saying that, hey, I shouldn't have did that. I was wrong. That was fucked up. You decided to double down and say, I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't see what I did. I ain't tell nobody to do nothing. And the fact that they had already been collecting data on your ass, it was like, all right, this is the last straw. Send that motherfucker out. But you had been already, she had been let you rock. And that's what people don't seem to understand is folks will give you enough rope to do it to yourself. All they got to do is press the button. Same way you did the same with Joe Budden, same way they did with you, right? So rather than place blame, be mad at Joe Budden, he can't get you in or out of this. Be mad at yourself. Be mad at the people that were on your platform egging you on, championing you. Be mad at those people for not giving you a little bit of insight. Be mad at yourself for not being open to advice, because I know somebody down the line told you to calm that shit down. And not just concerning Megan, but just the style of what you do. Somebody down the line told your ass to simmer down. But to be honest, I never knew who a Milagro Grams was prior to the Tory Lanez trial to begin with. That's not to say she ain't been around. That's not to say she hasn't had a following. That's not to discredit anything that people that fuck with her believe in, right? She has a bigger platform than me. I can't say, oh, I never heard of her like I'm bigger than her. I'm just saying I didn't know who she was. That's what put her on my radar. And since then, it's been a continuous thing with the Cardi B, with Megan Thee Stallion, with Nicki Minaj, all of this shit, right? Which again, I'm telling y'all, I said this the other day concerning the Nicki Minaj Armand back and forth, or their, discourse is, if these celebrities give credibility, attention, and interact with these people on some level, and I'm not saying Megan did this, it only propels the person to another level in which they weren't going to get on their own. A celebrity dissing you is a cosign. A celebrity cosign is a cosign. Right? If you walk into a room and they say you stink, it's a cosign. So that's what you're up against. So best thing you can do is allow them to rock, let them get their shit off. Because if you take it too far and acknowledge them, it puts them on another level. Or you duff them out, once you've compiled enough, flagrant content that they've put out against you, and say, now is the time. You know what I mean? Don't play with it. Don't go back and forth. Don't scream online. Just serve their ass. Okay? Now, for the people that were talking about Tory Lanez innocence, right? We're going to address all of this stuff. One video, I don't have the patience to talk about all this shit all that much, right? So the courts have come out and responded to his habeas petition, which would have, his appeal and the information that his legal team put out saying that there was no firearm, no evidence, no DNA that would have suggested that that he had touched or had held the firearm. Well, let's just go through this quickly as possible. They say in 2023, a jury found petitioner guilty of assault with a semi-automatic firearm and 2 other offenses based on evidence that he shot Megan Pete. Seeking relief in this court, petitioner filed an opening brief on direct appeal and a petition for writ of habeas corpus. After a response was filed in each case, petitioner filed a second petition for writ of habeas corpus. In an order dated October 25th, 2024, this court directed the Attorney General to serve and file points and authorities discussing whether an order to show should issue. Excuse my stumble there. The new petition raises 2 claims premised on allegations that the prosecution failed to collect or preserve evidence that might have been useful to the defense. Specifically, petitioner asserts that the prosecution misplaced and failed to preserve the firearm, as well as the shell casings and bullet fragments, which precludes him from testing those items for fingerprints and DNA material. Petitioner further asserts that after the gun and magazine were swabbed for genetic material, all of that material was consumed during the DNA testing. Finally, petitioner asserts that the prosecution never obtained a DNA reference sample from Kelsey Harris. According to petitioner, the failure to collect and preserve those items for additional testing deprived him of his right to pursue an actual innocence claim on habeas corpus, and that it also deprived him of his right to due process under Arizona v. Youngblood 1988. Petitioner fails to state a prima facie case for relief as to either claim. Specifically, petitioner fails to provide reasonably available documentary evidence to support his factual assertions. His failure to do so is especially troubling because his factual assertion that the firearm casings and bullet fragments are missing is contradicted by the attached declaration from Martin Preciado, which avers that his query of the computer system for the Los Angeles Police Department shows that LAPD still has custody of the firearm and the firearms magazine, as well as the casings and fragments that were booked into evidence. So they're saying he's not telling the truth. They actually have all of this still in their possession. Furthermore, In any event, the first claim fails to state a prima facie case because the mere filing of a habeas petition does not entitle petitioner to discovery, because any request for post-conviction DNA testing must be made in the Superior Court under Penal Code Section 1405, and because any additional DNA testing could not establish a claim of actual innocence in this case. The second claim fails to state a prima facie case for the same reasons, and because petitioner fails to allege facts that could show the bad faith required to establish a due process violation under Youngblood. Accordingly, as set forth in the detail below, the petition should be summarily denied. Petitioner fails to state a prima facie case. We're not going to go through all of this again. So let me speed this up, shall we? Petitioner has not satisfied his burden of providing reasonably available documentary evidence that would support his factual assertions. His failure to do so is especially significant in this case because his unsupported claim that the LAPD has misplaced or lost evidence is demonstrably false. But even if the assertions were true, petitioner fails to state a case for relief because he has no right to discovery at this stage of the proceedings, and because any request for further DNA testing must be made in Superior Court. Okay? Just going to try to move through this succinctly and not waste too much time. They say without providing any documentary evidence or a declaration from either habeas counsel or a custodian of evidence for the Los Angeles Police Department, petitioner simply asserts that the firearm and bullet fragments have not been preserved. As to the firearm, petitioner merely states the people failed to introduce the firearm into evidence at trial as they merely presented a photograph of such. This is because the firearm has been misplaced and is currently missing. That was his claim. They say as to the bullet fragments, petitioner similarly attempts to draw an inference from the failure of the prosecution to introduce the object into evidence. Likewise, the bullet fragments were not produced as evidence. It cannot be located as they were not preserved. That is his claim at the end of that. They say, but the prosecution's use of two photographs of the firearm instead of the gun itself does not establish that the gun was misplaced or lost. Okay? They say, likewise, the prosecution's decision to not introduce bullet fragments or any other item of evidence during petitioner's trial does not permit an inference that the item was lost or destroyed, because you bring photos. We saw that in the Young Dolph trial. They tried to bring firearms in, and they said, "Hey, get that out of here." What did they say? Let me go further. Petitioner's failure to provide reasonably available documentary evidence is especially troubling in this case because the factual assertions are demonstrably false. We said that already. And they've already stated that the Los Angeles Police Department still has that in evidence. Okay? They say, in raising this claim, petitioner fails to cite a single case that holds or even suggests that a failure to collect or preserve evidence may interfere with a criminal defendant's right to file a writ of habeas corpus. His failure to find such a case is telling because there is a well-recognized claim for relief that can be raised in cases where the prosecution has failed to preserve evidence. So they're saying he had plenty of opportunity to make his case, but he has no evidence to show what he's claiming. Okay? So they also state, in any event, as petitioner did not receive a sentence of 15 years or more, his mere filing of a habeas petition does not entitle him to post-conviction discovery materials. Interesting. Let's see here. Moreover, Respondent notes that this is not a case in which DNA testing would be warranted because petitioner would be unable to satisfy his burden of showing that any new results would differ from the prior results, and that there is a reasonable probability he would have obtained a better outcome at trial if the new results had been available. As noted in the prior informal response, the evidence in this case was compelling. Moreover, the prosecution did not even rely on the DNA results in arguing petitioner's guilt because both the prosecution and defense experts opined that DNA testing of the firearm showed that petitioner was excluded as being the primary contributor who provided 90% of the genetic material, and that he could neither be included nor excluded as one of the minor contributors. Under these circumstances, it is inconceivable that DNA testing could undermine the entire prosecution case and point unerringly to innocence or reduce culpability as is required to establish a claim of actual innocence. For the same reasons, petitioner fails to state a prima facie case for relief based on his assertion that he is unable to examine the firearm for fingerprints. Petitioner fails to allege facts establishing that there are any recoverable fingerprints on the firearm, the casings, or the bullet fragments, much less that any such print would have belonged to anyone other than him. Firearms examiner testified that his unit of the LAPD no longer examined casings for fingerprints because it had proven unsuccessful. Okay. Just wanted to give y'all that update so y'all understand. Most people understand, but just want to be clear here. Okay. They state that query showed that Evidence and Property Management Division has the firearm magazine, and all the bullet casings and the bullet fragments. His unsupported claim that the LAPD has misplaced or lost evidence is demonstrably false. Okay? So this is the state's response to Tory Lanez. Okay? Just wanted to put all of this here. You can do with the information what you want. You can go find it. Megan Cuniff has this online. You can read it yourself. Make your own determination. I'm not here to influence your thought, your ideas, or how your brain works. But I read the information as it's been stated. All right? Now, as for Milagro, you might want to separate yourself from homie. The new lawyer you got, you might want to dump the other one. He ain't going nowhere. Okay? As for Joe Budden, he ain't going nowhere. He going to continue to do his shit. And, you know, it is what it is with him. People have their opinion of him. Those that like him. Those that don't probably haven't for a long time. You going back and forth with Joe, again, is not going to make your situation any better. You not liking the fact that he compared you to a Tasha K, you're in your feelings about that. You've got bigger fish to fry. You should be focused on your case. The fact that you're still out here trying to go at Jay-Z and Beyonce in the midst of this, preparing for your trial, I find that to be interesting as well. But we shall see how this thing plays out. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Much love and respect, y'all. Peace. King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. But I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they died of me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but you run no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.